All right, bit of an educational video for everyone. Maybe some people know, maybe some people don't. So, been practicing as a myotherapist for about 10 years, and now I'm upskilling to become a chiro. And my fundamental beliefs with regards to the way I treat and the way I like to provide intervention is obviously using not one specific type of modality. But what I'd like to emphasize on is the importance of, and I'm just reading this simply because it's a lot of information to contain. Some of it I know off the top of my head, and I do explain this to my clients very specifically all the time. And it's in regards to how muscle can affect bones and joints when it's too tight. All right, so we've got to remember that muscle exerts force, okay, onto these areas. But what happens over a prolonged period of time when you develop muscle tension, it's not the same amount of force, but there is force. For example, when a muscle starts to shorten and a joint starts to get impacted with regards to its movement capabilities. You know, a very simple example is like your neck, okay? When your neck is not capable of moving in certain planes of motion and your range of motion becomes very restricted, this is due to mainly your muscles having that effect prior to the joint becoming dysfunctioned, okay? Now, we all need to remember, okay, that muscle contracts and muscle relaxes. So if we're always in a state where we're contracted all the time, we call this tension, okay? Now there's different forms of contraction, all right? Concentric, eccentric, isometric. And the point where you're at when it comes to being in tension, you are basically in isometric contraction the whole time. Hence the reason why you can't move well. Now, in order to be able to release off muscle, release off tissue, there needs to be specific effective ways in order to release the muscle, okay? And you can't fluff around with it, okay? You got to be a bit firm, and you definitely got to start breaking down myofibrils, the basic muscle cells, muscle fibers cells, okay? And this happens by manipulation. There is no other way to loosen up muscle unless, say, for example, you take a pill and that pill targets your nervous system. That is not loosening up the muscle. All it's doing is deactivating the motor units that are overactive, but it's not changing the muscle length. Think about it.